I am alt-right.
So before this subject runs cold, I would very much like to touch upon the Women's March for 2018, held on the same day that Trump was inaugurated, or his anniversary that is. First of all, I want to make a couple of disclaimers. Firstly, I don't oppose the Women's March as a whole. I oppose those that give out bad messages. I oppose those that use it as a platform to air their grievances when they could easily pay for a psychiatrist or just get an interview in a gossip magazine if you're one of those fancy rich people. And I don't take issue with empowering women and children, girls of course. But if you're going to do it and use it as an excuse to attack men, then I take issue, because you are then not empowering women, you are instead lowering men to you, which is petty and pathetic. So let's begin with this meme, very overused meme, and I could just end this by saying that Sean Head's video with the equal pay thing, yeah, that fits in right here, and I can't help but notice that there are 6 pussy hats in this picture and 1 delightful white cowboy hat. Somebody didn't get the memo about the pussy hats. And I think I see a purple tentacle in the background. I wasn't there, I promise. Let's ignore the sign on the left, because it's rubbish. It's not entertaining. Babes against bullshit. It's nice to know that when girls use the word babes, it's okay. And in the middle, now I'm not going to read that message because I took it the wrong way when I first saw it. Instead I want to focus on a different point. If you want to make a good point, don't use male genitalia to get that point across. Again, it looks like bullying. That's how it comes across to me anyway. Angry women will change the world. Maybe they will, but angry women are just that, angry. If you want to really change the world, achieve something. Either unite and do something together, which this march certainly showed you can, and we will get onto that later with a rather funny article I saw. My view on this is simple, because I don't really care so much about race and gender. My view is simple. You, the individual, are what matters. What ideas come out of your head matter. What you do and achieve in your life matters. But again, and I will touch upon this a number of times, if the way you're going to do it is by being a bully, then you're not going to amount to much. Fuck you, Trump. Remember the whole empowering women thing? No. And I count 3 pussy hats and 1 Batman hat that I really want, but not that one because it's probably on some greasy hair. The image next to it, my pussy is your worst nightmare. I'm so glad I'm not the man that, or woman that has to fuck you then. This one isn't entirely relevant, but it's popped up anyway on Twitter. Reminder, black women saved Alabama. Now this has a fair amount of controversy with Roy Moore, so I'm not going to be drawn in on it. But I don't believe that is a very empowering message. You're just saying, here, white folk, feel guilty. That's not how you should behave. Now this one is interesting because it raises DACA, and I do want to touch on it, but I don't at the same time because one of my patrons has asked me to do a video on it, so I'm going to do that instead, but I'm going to read this card from the Pussy Hat wearer. Stopping DACA and limiting immigrants of colour block future votes for the Democratic Party. It's nice to know where your votes come from. You know, from that thing that Obama implemented in 2012, that in 2013 was defunded, or voted to be defunded even though Congress doesn't actually fund it. It's funded by its applications. And obviously then it was, and Trump promised to rescind it within his first day, and he has in fact done so. Wow, I touched on it and did it quickly. Who would have believed it? Let's move on. If you don't fight for all women, you fight for none. From the virtue-signalling red hat wearing man, I hope it says MAGA on the front. I really do. I hope you're wearing it ironically, like a good hipster douche. When Voldemort is president, we need a nation of Hermiones. No, you don't. Because if Voldemort's president, you need Harry Potter. Or you just let him stay there. Magog and I will get to him when we're done doing other stuff, like drinking. Vote Hillary on the t-shirt, though. You're too young, I'm not doing. No, I have standards. And which Hermione is this? The white one in the past or the black one in the future? She basically went reverse Michael. Please note the lack of Nazis at our march. How virtuous. 2 pussy hats, by the way. No, 3. There's a purple one. That's mauve? Purple? Oh, I can't tell. The sly dig in this sign at the white nationalist marches is petty, pathetic, and doesn't empower girls at all. There was no Nazis there either. If this march is about accountability, 57% of white women voted for misogyny. Not entirely true. It would be 57% of white women voters from a turnout of just over 50% in the 2016 presidential election. They might have voted for misogyny, and I like the fact that you crossed out 4 with the number 4. Yeah, don't understand that. Unless it means 4, like 4 years. Or you're just trying to be hip, because, you know, you're black. My 2018 resolution? Lose 239 pounds. Ah, Donald Trump's weight. Who gives a fuck? I think I've said that before. But if you do decide to lose 239 pounds yourself, just tell me if you're successful, because I'd like to know what someone who is heavy with non-weight? That'd be interesting. So we got here images together. Angry black women make history. We're the angry black women. Fantastic. Now what? I don't care if the term is stigmatized or anything like that. And anger, the problem with anger is, and I feel like a bit of a condescending fuck for saying this, but anger, unless used or channeled, anger is unpredictable. Anger is a complete lack of control, which to me is unproductive, which is why you don't see me on this channel get cross very often, because I don't see it as useful. I don't know why this image is here. So here we are. Impeach the shithole president. Hashtag Blue Wave 2018. 1 vote November 2018. Right. Trump is a white supremacist. Yep. I hate to bring this up, but he's dated women from other races. And based on what we've heard about his sex life, seriously, honestly, this guy must be doing it pretty hard. There was a protest thing set up for early November of 2017 to impeach Donald Trump. We're now in January 2018. He's still there. It's been a year, and you are still trying to impeach a guy who hasn't actually done anything wrong. You've had presidents in the past who have, and have been impeached for it, but they seem to get talked highly about. And as far as shithole, he might be, but he's still right. Haiti is a dump. People call places dumps all the time. This is what's interesting, actually. I do want to touch on this again. This is not empowering women, and everyone says something nasty about something. It's not unpresidential, to be honest. In fact, it's just not... Oh no, actually it is not presidential. I think that's where he stands out, because he's willing to just speak his mind. Stop using this march as an excuse to crap on other things, and use it for good. This isn't for good. This is just to be a dick, because you still can't accept that you lost. Instead, use your card and inspire girls. Tell them what you do for a living and how you manage to get a day off work if you have a job at all. Again, something we will touch on later. My little black dress doesn't mean yes. What the fuck is this doing here? Honestly. Weak men fear strong women. Nice. Take a shit on men while you're at it. Solidarity sisterhood. That's sexist, because it doesn't include men. And also excludes trans women. I think you need to be very open about that. Have sex, hate sexism. How old are you? Riot girl with a donut. How appropriate. Fight like a girl, don't fight like a girl, honestly. I remember sharing a boxing ring with a guy who threw punches like a girl. I almost broke his wrist on my chin. That's embarrassing. Don't fight like a girl, because that's embarrassing. Unless you're trying to now say girls use their brains, which is something I will touch on in many videos, where standards are being lowered for girls. Honestly, either accept your limitations or try harder and empower each other. What is wrong with you? Oh, DACA. Right. Moving on. Hashtag resist. Oh, and then the pussy grabber, hands off my over... How far in you do you think he's going to stick his hand? And I'm not trying to be rude, but you look a tad old to have anything useful with your ovaries. What do you... Oh, my mind is just blown by this idea that someone's going to stick their hand inside someone to touch their over... Oh my life. No. Oh, women get things done. Cooking, cleaning, yes, of course you do. America is great because of women, people of colour, LGBT people, and there's something else, but you left out straight white men. If you stand for equality, then you're a feminist. Sorry to tell you. Quote from Emma Watson. I stand for chaos. Death. I stand for no lives matter. And no, I'm not a feminist. Which also, by the way, since no lives matter means I do stand for equality. Equality that every last one of you snivelling human beings gets to die by mine and Magog's hands in 2020. There will be shirts. You will all buy them, and then you will die in them with a smile on your face. And Emma Watson could suck a dick, honestly. What the fuck is wrong with her? Oh, there's a lot of signs here. Right. Women's Equality Party. Now's the time to put your foot down. I actually think that trying to get more women to vote, good thing. More that vote, the better. Because the turnout for the election was horrific. Socialist worker, dump Trump, fight bigotry. That's not empowering women. Grab the patriarchy by the... And I'm pretty much sure that says balls. Again, using men's genitalia to make a point. Patriarchy, not what you think it is. Seriously. There's unity in diversity. Unless, of course, part of that diversity doesn't want to be a part of you, instead tear you all apart. Think of one religion if you want. I'll tell you what freedom is to me. No fear. Actually, I think there's more fear in being absolutely free. This brings up an interesting argument about whether government should play any role in their people's lives. And if you are totally free of all of that, surely you'd be afraid because everything is on you. Don't forget white women voted for Trump, with 3 pussy hat wearing white women behind, although they could be mixed race. You know, weak black genes or something, you never know. Oh, and this is Iggy Azalea. She wrote down some messages promoting the Women's March, all the while talking about objectification, as if it was negative, which is interesting because you make a living from shaking your ass with a dance move that is very popular in quite a lot of strip clubs. But I'm guessing one rule for one and another rule for others. So this also popped up, and I'm not sure if this came from this year's Women's March or last year's, but trans women are men. Truth is not hate. Don't believe the hype. Trans ideology is misogyny and homophobic. Woman is not a feeling, a costume, or a performance of a stereotype. Woman is a biological reality. There is no ethical or moral duty to lie to soothe a male ego. If I had more time, I would have asked my friend Frozen Binary Studio to comment on this. She's one of my very closest friends, and she happens to be trans. You should all go subscribe, by the way. A channel link will be in the description. This kind of bigotry is quite unacceptable. Look at that cuck. Grab him by the midterms. Wait, I'm not interested in that anymore, no. There's a dude at the back wearing a pussy hat, but it looks like udders. I squeeze him when I get him milk out of his head. So here's an article that popped up about the Women's March. But the title, well, yeah. Women's March expected to be the largest gathering of people with disabilities in US history. I've taken the liberty, Liz Plank, of rewriting it for you. Women's March expected to be the largest gathering of unemployed women claiming to be disabled in US history. You are welcome. Now this was all the images I could be bothered to go pull off Twitter. I know that my friend Count Dibula did a video on this recently. I will link his in the description for Monday Morning Morons, I believe his series is called. For me, the Women's March should be more about empowering women and not bringing men down. Now I will admit there are areas of your society, of anyone's society, that are sexist. And having Scarlett Johansson and Natalie Portman talk about Hollywood I'm sure was enlightening. And I'm sure it empowered many actresses. It doesn't really translate to the regular person. Hollywood is, and always has been, considered its own entity, so I don't really think it that important, but I'm glad you had those rather than Donna Hilton or Linda Sarsour. Honestly, to sum up, if you want to amount to something, or you want to start something that people will respect you for, stop using whatever platforms you have to attack men, and instead look to solve your problems. You don't have to bring men down or lower your own standards, or have people lower standards for you to make your life easier, because all that does is make you look weaker. And by the way, there was an article I'm going to cover with a very dishonest title that portrays women as having a learning disability because they're women. Expect that on Monday or Sunday, yes. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you all have a lovely day.